Imagine you're flying in a spaceship, moving faster and faster, and you come to a point where space itself ends. What's beyond that point? A giant empty void? Nothing? Another universe? Or is there simply no beyond at all? In today's video, we're going to crack open one of the hardest questions in astronomy. What lies beyond the edge of our universe? Today we're tackling something wild, the idea of an edge to the universe, the boundary of everything we know, and asking, is there something outside that boundary, or is that question meaningless? We'll zoom in on the concept of the observable universe, talk about what scientists actually mean when they say edge, dig into what theories suggest might exist beyond, and then ask what it means for us. By the end, you should have a clearer mental picture of one of the most mind-stretching ideas in physics. So here's the challenge. We're used to thinking in everyday terms. If you go far enough in one direction, you hit the end of a road, or you reach the edge of a cliff. But when you apply that idea to the universe, one of two things happens. Either you ask, what's beyond that edge? And that seems to make sense. Or you discover the whole notion of edge might simply not apply. Scientists have found that the universe might be finite or infinite. It might have no outside, or it might curve so that if you go long enough, you end up where you started. There are at least three big questions. 1. Does the universe have an edge at all? 2. If it does, what's beyond that edge? And 3. If there's no edge, how do we make sense of an expanding universe and our observable limits? That's the challenge we're going to unpack. Let's break it down step by step. 1. What do we mean by universe and edge? First, when scientists talk about the universe, they often mean everything. All space, time, matter, energy, the full set of existence. If you define universe that way, saying what's outside becomes strange, because by definition, there is no outside. Second, the edge we can talk about more precisely is the edge of the observable universe, the region from which light, or some signal, has had time to reach us since the Big Bang. Because the universe is about 13.8 billion years old, and because space has been expanding, there's a sphere around us of about 46 billion light-years radius in co-moving distance, beyond which we cannot see. So you have a horizon of sorts. It's not a physical wall, it's just a limit of our observations. 2. Does the universe have a physical boundary or wall? Here is where things get interesting. Many sources emphasize the universe doesn't appear to have a boundary in the sense of a wall or edge you can bump into. From one explanation, the universe is a three-dimensional version of the balloon's skin, meaning you could keep going in one direction and never hit a boundary. Another phrasing, even if the universe is finite, it doesn't necessarily mean there is an edge or outside. So there might not be an edge as we picture it, a rim or limit. Instead, the universe could be infinite and unbounded. Or it could be finite but without an edge. For example, it loops back on itself in a higher dimension. In either case, the concept of beyond the edge requires caution. 3. What happens beyond the observable universe? Okay, so we recognize our horizon, the region we can observe. What lies beyond that? Well, we don't know directly because we cannot receive light or signals from there yet. But we can make educated statements. For example, the cosmos could just continue in much the same way as what we see locally, stars, galaxies, etc. Or it could behave differently, though we have no evidence. Some theories propose weird possibilities like different physical laws or a multiverse. Another point, because, due to expansion, some regions recede from us faster than light, we will never see certain parts of the universe. They are forever outside our observational reach. That means beyond, in this sense, is more like we cannot know or interact with, rather than there's a wall and outside it is X. So what does expansion mean if there's no outside? This is a tricky piece. Many people ask, if the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into? The short answer, in current cosmology, it's not expanding into something, space itself is stretching. Analogy: you might think of dots on a balloon being inflated. The dots move apart, but the balloon's surface is all there is. There's not necessarily a space outside that it's expanding into. For our 3D space, the analogy is rough. Therefore, even though the universe is expanding, it doesn't require an external container. The universe might simply get bigger internally. 6. The edge as a concept and why it's misleading. We've covered most of it, but let's emphasize why the edge concept is often misleading. If the universe is infinite, there is no edge point. If the universe is finite but unbounded, you might travel straight and eventually return to your starting point, in higher dimensional curvature sense, thus no edge in the everyday sense. The edge we do have is the observational horizon, a limit due to light travel time and expansion, not a physical boundary. Therefore, when someone asks, what's beyond the edge of the universe, you might respond, our best theories say there may be more universe, but we can't see it, and there's no guarantee of changes in physics, and possibly no actual edge to cross. 7. Some wild possibilities, just to stretch your imagination. More universe just like ours. Beyond what we can see, space and galaxies continue. Everything is similar. Different universe or multiverse. Some speculations say our universe might be one bubble among many, each with its own laws. If so, beyond our bubble could be others. Note, speculative, no observational proof yet. Looped universe or curved space. If space is curved in a certain way, you could travel in a straight line and come back around, so the notion of edge is meaningless again. True nothingness? Some non-scientific or philosophical ideas suggest beyond the universe is nothing at all. But within physics, nothing is tricky. Space and time as we know them might cease to apply. Different physical laws or dimensions. Some theories propose higher dimensions or bulk space in which our universe is embedded. If true, beyond might involve extra dimensions we can't perceive. What we know for sure, or at least strongly believe, the observable universe has a radius of about 46 billion light-years in co-moving distance because of the universe's age and expansion. We cannot receive light or information from regions outside that horizon. Observations of cosmic microwave radiation and large-scale structure indicate the universe is flat or very close on large scales, which allows for the possibility of infinite extent. Even a finite universe can have no edge in the everyday sense. Geometry can be closed, like a three-sphere, rather than flat and bounded by a boundary. Here's the moment to pause and let it sink in. When you look up at the night sky, you're looking into the observable universe. But even though it seems enormous, it's just our window. There could be vast swaths of universe beyond that window, perhaps amounts of space so big we can't even imagine. And yet, it's entirely possible there is no rim, no barrier to cross, no outside. The universe might just go on or loop around, and we are inside it, not looking at the edge from the outside. So the edge, we imagine, is more like a foggy horizon at sea. You see up to where you can see, but you know the water keeps going. And you're not standing on a shore looking into the void, you're floating in the water itself. That's the best metaphor. You're part of the ocean, not on its edge. When you grasp this, you begin to realize asking what's beyond the universe might be like asking what's north of the North Pole. It simply doesn't make sense in the way our language frames it. Let's bring it all together. We defined what we mean by the observable universe and discussed the edge of what we can see. We learned that the universe may not have a physical edge at all. Either it's infinite or finite but without boundary. We examined what beyond the edge of what we can see might mean. More universe? Different physics? Multiverses? Or maybe just space continuing in a familiar way? We reached the key insight. The idea of an edge is misleading. We're inside the universe. We're not looking at it from the outside. So if you walk away with one takeaway, there's no known edge you can reach and then peer beyond into nothing. The best science suggests the universe just keeps going, or loops, and our observable region is simply a window into the vastness we can access. The universe is far more strange and far more beautiful than the everyday notion of an edge. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and stick around for our next deep dive into the cosmic mysteries.